Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. So yesterday there was this doubt about what is pain and what is sorrow. So we had to come back here. I wish Mrinal is also here, but I think should we do this one more time? Although I had sent this clarification in the group, so I think what we'll do is move on from where we left yesterday. So sorrow refers to any complaint, any uneasiness about me, centered on the self, is sorrow. Any uneasiness centered on the self is sorrow, and it is about me. And that me is that small I. Physical pain is not sorrow, but complaining about such pain is sorrow. The problem is in thinking that everyone else is well and I am not. This self centered sorrow, shoka, is purely the brood of ignorance, wrong thinking stemming from wrong notions about oneself and the world. So there are three aspects here. One is it refers to a complaint. Second, it refers to an uneasiness about you, which is centered on. And then the third is you say everyone else is okay, I am not okay. And it is self-centered. Fourth is it is because of ignorance. And fifth, you can add on, is wrong thinking. Wrong thinking stemming from wrong notions about oneself and the world. This is why the Shastra gives the two two kinds of shastras. One was the Vedanta Shastra talks of two things. One is Atmaka. One second, one. The specific words they've used there were what about Atma and Atma Viveka? There was Pravritti Atmaka Shastra and Nivritti Atmaka Shastra. The Veda has twofold teaching. One is Pravritti Atmaka Shastra, and then the second is the Nivritti Atmaka Shastra. So Pravritti Atmaka Shastra is all about the karma that is enjoined in the first portion of the Veda. It can be manasika, vachika, or kaika. And then Nivritti Atmaka Shastra is talking about the Atma Anatma Viveka. And the whole of the Gita is about the Nivritti Atmaka Shastra. It is Moksha Shastra, therefore. So here it starts with negation. This part of the Veda is in the form of knowledge jnana, leading to the negation and recognition of what I am not and an appreciation of what I am. Sorrow is something that is superimposed upon the Atma due to the non-recognition of the nature, the reality, Swarupa of the Atma. Therefore, all sorrow is really without reason because sorrow itself has its roots only in non-recognition of the self and confusion. The world Anatma cannot cause you sorrow, nor can Atma be a source of sorrow. So I think that is clear, no? So again, wrapping up the sorrow and pain difference. Pain is a sensation that is felt when the sense organs get in touch with the sense objects. But sorrow is complaining, centered upon the small I and saying that I am going through this, everyone else is fine, I am not fine. It's a wrong way of thinking. Shoka arises from ignorance. And it is an uneasiness about me self-centered on the I. It is a superimposition, and it is because of Atma Anatma Viveka. There is no cause for sorrow. Neither Atma nor Anatma is the cause for sorrow. The only reason it is there is because of non-recognition of the self. That is the only way sorrow comes up. So I think we'll move forward. I'll just read this one para as well. So sorrow is not reasonable. Arjuna is told you are aggrieved for no reason. You have entertained grief with reference to situations which do not demand any grief on your part. Bhishma and Drona can take care of themselves. You need not have any grief on their behalf or for any other reason. If you understand everything from the standpoint of Atma, there is no sorrow. From any other standpoint also, sorrow is not reasonable. It is not that Arjuna was advised to have no sorrow. Such advice would not have been proper. Therefore, we should not say that we should not be sad because the Gita says so. Nor does the Shastra say that it is not proper to be sad. It says there is no reason for sadness. meaning that sadness or sorrow is something to be inquired into and understood. So here they're going one step further and saying, they're not even saying, asking us not to be sad, but then goading us to find out the reason, find out that there is no reason behind the sadness. So sorrow is something that has to be inquired into and understood. So it's not like we become like a dry blade of grass without any emotions. Sadness is an emotion. You can, but inquire into it. Don't just get engulfed in sorrow. Something you have to understand, and something that we have to, each of us has to inquire into. So bring in the Atma Anatma Viveka to deal with sadness and sorrow. So what we have to tell ourselves is this, that the rope cannot be affected by the wetness of the snake. If the rope is wet, it is wet. It has not been made so by the sliminess of the snake. The Atma is not affected by anything that has been superimposed upon it. This is the awareness that we will need to bring to ourselves in the vichara, Atma, Anatma vichara. That Atma is Ananda Swarupa and it cannot be affected by mithya. Because the Adhishtana Satya is not affected by mithya. Mithya depends upon the Atma for its existence and sustenance, for its fuel, its very fibers of being. The only thing that could affect Atma would be something enjoying the same order of reality. But there cannot be another Atma, right? Because there can be only one. Here, the example given was the two entities belonging to the same order of reality, like father in law and son in law. The dependency of one will affect the other. Let me just read through this. This dependency is entirely different and is not what is under discussion here. So, for example, if the son in law does not have a job, and finds it necessary to move in with his father in law, the son in law's dependency will definitely affect the father in law. This is not the kind of dependence we are looking at. What we are looking at is Atma, which is Satya, and Anatma, which is Mithya. Just as the Swarupa of water is not affected by the wave, the Swarupa of the Atma, Satchit Ananda, is not affected by Anatma. And we've seen how earlier, how there cannot be two Atmas. Because then it means that you are able to see the Atma. If you're able to see two, that means you are one and you're seeing the Atma. So that other Atma that you're seeing cannot be self-existent, cannot be uh, a stand-alone by itself because you have objectified it. Because earlier it was derived that whatever you see, perceive, is other than you. So there cannot be two Atmas. There is only one Atma. So we'll go forward. I'll just go run through the shlokas. Thus far we've done, and then we'll move forward. Natvevaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadhipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. There was never a time that I did not exist, nor you, nor these kings, nor will any of us cease to exist in the future. So again, that I that was talking, he's talking about is the Atma. Yeah, this is here. Atmas are not many. Only from the standpoint of physical bodies there is plurality, not from the standpoint of Atma. There are no differences in Atma. It is not a Krishna Atma, that it is not that a Krishna Atma existed, an Arjuna Atma existed, and other Atmas existed, and all of these having existed before will continue to exist forever. That is not the contention here at all. Atmas are not many. There is only one Atma. Atma that is not subject to time, Nitya Atma, without being without form and attributes, can only be one. Anitya, that which is subject to time, means anything that has a form with attributes, with an upadhi. Only then can it be subject to time. But an Atma that is subject to time is not the Atma we are talking about. Atma is the very basis, the adhishtana of time, and therefore is not subject to time. Because it is not subject to time, it is Nitya. So here the concept of Atma being time bound is knocked off. There was never a time. Rather than tell Arjuna that Ananda, the Atma is Nitya, he removed the notion of his being time bound. Since you cannot cry for the timeless, Atma is not a cause for sorrow, it is Ashochya. Anatma alone is subject to change, it is Anitya. Even if you want to stop this present second, you cannot because it is already gone. Therefore, crying for Anatma is foolish. Both Atma and Anatma, therefore, are Ashochya. So, very beautifully, so many ways Krishna has come down and said, Anatma is not a cause for sorrow, neither is Atma a cause for sorrow. You cannot stop the second from moving. So, how are you? How is that a cause for your sorrow? Because that is the nature of Anatma. It keeps changing. So, what is changing you're crying for? Because you want it to be permanent, you want it to be not changing, which is not possible at all. You're crying for that. And then Atma is Nitya, something that does not change, something that is Ananda. How can that be a source of sorrow? So, therefore, anything time bound is always time bound. You cannot expect constancy from something whose nature is change itself. This is a beautiful point in how this is how it is when we look at football, being a football of others' opinions, accepting people and situations. Because the mind is not constant, thinking is not constant, opinions change. There is so much of change in the opinions that we have of ourselves, what to talk of other people. So if you're aggrieved or sad because something that changes by nature is non-constant, what you need is proper understanding of the nature of Atma and Anatma, neither of which is a matter for sorrow. Either way you take it, this fact remains. Therefore, the first line of the previous verse becomes increasingly true as our understanding of Atma and Anatma increases. That is what the first line of the 11th shloka. Ashocyan anvashochastvam. Actually, the whole gist of Gita is out there. Then the constancy of the Atma. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi dhirastatra na muhyati. Just as how for an indweller of this body, the jiva, there is childhood, youth, and old age, so too is the gaining of another body. With reference to that, a wise person does not come to grief. Where does the body, this person, the jiva, exist? The jiva, the one who makes the body conscious, is the indweller of this body. In other words, the jiva referred to in this verse as the dehi is nothing but Atma with a body, mind, and senses. In this verse, Krishna referred to the threefold states that the body undergoes, each of which is distinct from the other two. For instance, in boyhood, there is no need for shaving, whereas in youth and adulthood, there is. Nor is a person likely to require a cane in either of these two states, unlike in old age. When childhood passes, does the one dwelling in the body survive or not? If there were no survivor, an old man could not talk about his earlier exploits and accomplishments. His voice is certainly no longer the voice of boyhood, having become very shaky due to the changes brought about by the age. But the I is the same. The I is solid, not shaky. Thus, the one who was in childhood is the one who was in youth and is the one who is now. That I does not change at all. As each state comes and goes, the I remains the same. Although each state is destroyed, the Atma is never destroyed. The body is said to undergo a metamorphosis every 7 years, but the person remains the same. The birth of a later state does not imply a new birth and a new life for the person, the Atma. Nor does death of the previous state spell death for the Atma. These states come and go, and Atma remains the same in a given body. How so beautiful. Death is again the same thing. Death is like the body, the Atma is just dropping this matter equipment, body and matter equipment, because it has become worn out. It is no longer useful. This is true for an old person, but a person dying young. Also, the body may not have become old, but due to various reasons, the end of the life is done, and then that is the death of the body, whereas the Atma remains, takes on another matter equipment.
Like we changes the clothes.
Like we changed the clothes. Vasamsi jirnani yathavihai. I think that is the shloka we're supposed to do today. But we're just doing a recap of all that we did before because of the doubt that was expressed yesterday. Mrinal, I think you may have just joined a few minutes ago. We were actually going through, so I would request you to just revise, go to the YouTube recording today in the first 15 20 minutes. And we actually went through what sorrow is and how it is different from pain. And so that's what you can do.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
The same Atma sees all three states childhood, adulthood, and old age. One need only ask an elderly person what he or she had for lunch. In response to this simple question, an elderly man may start with his first marriage. The Atma is the same through all the experiences of life. See, because the Atma is a witness, you're able to even remember what happened in old age, in childhood. So, just as each of these states is taken for the Atma, another body can also be taken for the Atma, even though Atma itself remains the same. Just as how a person does not remember his or her first 3 years, in the same way, previous lifetimes in other bodies are also not remembered. And thank God for that, right? Which is just as well, since there would only be that many more problems. If we all knew our own and each other's previous births, we would be blaming people from those lifetimes just as we do in this one. There would then be far too many situations and people to blame. So, this loss of memory or not remembering the first 3 years and the previous lifetimes is actually a boon. Known or unknown, Atma is the same, be it with reference to the first 3 years of this birth or to previous births. Thus, from the standpoint of Atma, there is no reason for sorrow born of self decimation. It is the same even from the standpoint of the simple jiva, the one who has a body. Where is the reason then for getting into a state of delusion that I will be absent at any time? The jiva will continue with or without a body. Without a body, there is no problem. I am Atma and therefore timeless. As a jiva, gaining a new body gives you a new and better start. If you did not make proper use of the previous body, now you can make better use of the new one. So these few lines should slash away any traces of fear of death for anyone. That is what is one of the fears, fear of dying. Fear of dying is one of the greatest of fears. Fear of criticism. So, all this, when you just reflect on this, that the jiva will continue with or without a body. Why? Because Atma is timeless. And gaining a new body will give you. Sorry?
No, just by mistake I have opened the. Yeah.
Ah, okay. I thought you were saying something. So, actually, you leaving the old body, that is death of the current physical body, is actually a release. It's a sense of freedom from for the jiva, because this body has become worn out and is looking actually getting into a new body would give a better start, a new start. Because the wise have no sorrow, because a wise person has the knowledge of Atma and Anatma, there is no question of he or she being sorrowful. Such a person knows that what does not change cannot be changed, and what changes cannot be stopped. When the facts are clear, there is no sorrow. The wise person is one who knows what is real, Atma, and what is unreal, Anatma. And further, Krishna said, so a wise person knows what changes and what does not change.
So the real reason um, you're not worried about it is this body is considered as I mean it's not considered, is anatma,
Right.
which is changing all the time, and it's like, but atma exists always. Anatma is not you really, this real you is the atma. So that is not destroyed at all. So, like you said, like the death, you know, wise people not worrying about it, meaning knowing that difference, that atma and anatma, that viveka, they're not worried because they know that it always there. I mean, the atma is always there. You're not gone somewhere. I mean, of course, based on the karma that you do, probably we take another body and come as a jiva. So that's what is saying about no sorrow. So not only for the wise person, like now knowing that, not to be worried about, or I mean, you probably feel sad, but then the way to come back from that sadness, if someone departs or something, and this is the way we have to take it and move on like that.
is by understanding. And
Yeah, by understanding exactly. So that, and also like yesterday when we had this question, right, about the pain and sorrow,
hmm,
all that, our mind. I was thinking about it today, how much we are still connecting with our body, identifying with our body sense complex, mind sense complex. That's where we are feeling this I part,
hmm,
even though we are in this knowledge. So I'm
hmm,
wondering how often do we feel in a given day? And I felt it, probably I feel it that few minutes that I'm praying really well, that that time maybe I am really in that moment. And few times probably when you're talking to you yourself, um but all the other times, it just go on.
which is
Without
why,
thinking.
correct, which is why the
Yeah,
importance of meditation.
yeah,
When you're
so
meditating, like
that's
you rightly pointed out, when you're praying,
mm,
you're in that state. You know that the Atma and Atma Viveka is there, it's prominent.
right.
So when we
So
meditate regularly, twice 20
yeah.
minutes morning, I'm talking specifically of Sahaj Samadhi meditation. So when
Mm-hmm.
you meditate regularly twice a day,
Mm,
this awareness of being a witness will spill out of even our meditation time. Will get
mm,
into our waking time when we're doing things. That this is what differentiates a wise person from a person who's an ajnani. A wise
right.
person is in the witness state throughout.
Hmm. So then we are connecting with this pain issue, especially, like
Yes,
all the time it's just connecting in the periphery only. It's not really
correct.
connecting to that really, that jnana part.
Yeah.
So the more you think about it, then like yesterday when you mentioned like what Ramana Maharishi or
Mm,
this Ramakrishna, Swami Ramakrishna and all, they didn't feel it, meaning they probably meditating most of the time, they're reveling in their own self, then they are not going to feel that kind of that suffering or feeling that problem, that much,
yes.
because they are in really into themselves, like really feeling, I mean, reveling in their own nature. So, given we keep thinking about it, oh, that's been like I'm only working with this sensory, with the sense organs is what's taking most part of it, and then the sense objects, obviously, that's how we are connecting our mind and body reacting to all these things. So again, that was a good question, and started that. Going back, even though we went back and reviewing it, it really helps us to how much we have to apply, like
Yeah.
especially thinking about it. Yeah. Thank you. Thank
No
you for
problem.
going back and doing this. And
Yeah.
also, I think in there are, I don't know which, Suga Dukesh or Dukesh Sukesh or something like that. That one. Uh,
Keshu anudvigna manaha, sukeshu
right.
vigata spruhaha,
Yeah.
vita raga bhaya krodhaha, stitadhir muniruchat. That comes as part of the Sthita Prajna Lakshanas. It
Right.
comes later
When
in the
we
chapter.
read that, and in that sloka only we read that source of sorrow and the dukkha,
Mm.
and then the source of the sukha also, like that part which I was mentioning yesterday, like all those three sources and things like that.
Mm.
But here, the yesterday what you read, that was the sorrow ourselves causing is, yeah, either by the only two things. Then that one said like Atma and Anatma, but then the differentiation is Atman doesn't cause that, or even the Anatman doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Only that, say, we start complaining about it, and that causing this problem. Mm. The sadness, the
That,
sorrow.
yeah, I think that is worth repeating so that we kind of
Yeah,
get that clear
and
in our mind
again,
is.
we did this last time also, but then it didn't stay in mind.
Mm.
uh, and then that very that one sentence you read is, you really have to understand, like inquiry
Mm.
into why that sorrow is, and then
Mm.
understanding it, then it makes a big sense.
Yeah, that is
So
true.
we have to practice that every day. Why, when we feel sad, why are we doing this?
Correct.
Yeah, that would be good homework.
Which is why Arjuna, after having listened to the whole of the Gita, although he says in the last chapter, Nashto moha smritir labdha, I've
Mm,
lost, my delusion is gone, I've got back I've come back to my senses. After the
mm,
whole war was over, he comes back to Krishna and asks him, please, that time you talked to me in the middle of the battlefield, can you please teach me one more time?
mm,
But because he is forgotten. He,
right.
so it's natural for people to forget, which is why abhyasa is required.
Mm.
Abhyasa and vairagya, they go together in this path. That is why punah punaha, we need to expose ourselves to this
Expose,
knowledge.
yeah. Mm, sure. I think
And understanding, that is getting the shastra. um,
jnana is one side, but then we have to practice it.
yeah, the shastra kripa has to be invoked.
Yeah.
What the Gita is wanting to convey, are we able to get that crystal clear without putting our own little interpretations in it?
Right. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
getting that crystal clear, like how Krishna wanted to convey. Are we able
Mm,
to get that?
right.
That becomes Shastra Kripa.
Mm,
So, so basically, sorrow has no reason. The reason for sorrow is because, number one, we complain. Pain is inevitable, but when we start complaining about the pain and we feel uneasy about it, we are not enduring it. The endurance part will come in verse number 14. So when we feel uneasy about it and it is self-centered, it is centered on me, and then we say everyone else is okay, I am not okay. I am the one
yeah.
going
That
through this.
comparison is the problem.
Comparison.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you
Very,
say complaining, I mean, naturally, when there is some pain, we're going to say, "Oh, I have pain," right? Like, but then,
yeah. I have pain is one, but
right,
oh, I'm sad because of this pain. It has taken you off your center. That is being
right.
uneasy, right?
Mm.
Once you're
Because of
off
the
center.
pain, people take. I mean, more thinking about it, that kind of gets worse by themselves. I have pain, 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 like that.
Mm.
Constantly thinking about it, that gets worse in terms of that. That's more of, I can think, as complaining, or all the time we keep saying it instead of finding the remedy or alternative to, uh,
It's a matter
like,
of acceptance, no? So
yeah,
in
accepting.
non-acceptance, you
Yeah,
are complaining.
right,
But when you accept and take
exactly.
responsibility, then
Mm,
you have you're going through the pain, you're enduring the pain,
right.
but you're not sorrowful about it. You're
Right.
not aggrieved by it.
Got it. So that part of it is, again, accepting as it is, and then
Yeah.
see what you can do about it,
Yeah.
for one budget stuff,
Correct.
rather
Gita
than.
is not telling us if you're having severe pain, just
Mm,
accept it, and it's not a reason for sorrow. Of course, not a reason for sorrow, but if
right.
there is pain, please do actively
Yeah.
accept it, go and seek whatever solution for that. So,
Sure. Mm.
and this is what we're all seeking. We have the pain, we've gone through the pain of samsara. That is why mumukshutva has dawned. That is why we are reaching out to the Atma, towards Atma Jnana.
Right.
So this is one way of getting out of the
Getting out
pain
of
of
it.
samsara,
Right. Right.
pain of death. So when we deal with the highest pain, which is death, then
Mm.
all other pains are automatically kind of taken care of. It is
Mm.
like that. What is that? That logic. In order to defeat, in order to be the uh, the boxing champion, you don't need to box everybody, all the boxers
Everybody,
in the
yeah.
world.
One the
You
clear.
just have to box with, defeat
Mm.
that one person who was the previous champion,
Mm.
and then you have defeated everybody else. You are the reigning champion. Similarly, if this anatma viveka we can apply to death, which is one
Mm.
of the most severe, I mean, that is the highest thing. After the death of the body, there's nothing else, right? So if you're
Mm.
able to apply this jnana to that state, then every other state is only a corollary of that. It's only it's subordinate to that. It is smaller
Right.
than that.
Mm. Yeah,
So
that's what
all the other
mentioned about.
problems we face, oh, this person said that, this one said this, I did not get this. All of that gets bundled up into smaller versions of that.
Yeah.
That is why Gurudev keeps saying so many times, he says, you are bigger than the problem. The problem is we bloat the problem so huge and big that we consider ourselves small and the problem is looming large over our head. And then we get engulfed by the problem. So you are bigger than the problem. You are bigger than the event. You're bigger than whatever, people, situations, relationships. You are the one. You are, yeah. So the wise have no sorrow. Because the wise person has the knowledge of Atma and Anatma, there is no question of he or she being sorrowful. Such a person knows that what does not change cannot be changed, and what changes cannot be stopped. When the facts are clear, there is no sorrow. The wise person is one who knows what is real, Atma, and what is unreal, Anatma. Further, Krishna said, so again, Krishna has not told Arjuna, don't be sad. Arjuna was sad. He said, Bhishma and Drona can take care of themselves. There is no reason for your sadness. So the sadness only has to be inquired into, has to be understood that there is no cause for sorrow. Matra sparshastu kaunteya शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखदाः आगमापायिनो नित्याः तां स्थितिक्षस्व भारत. O son of Kunti, the contacts of the sense organs with the sensory world, which give rise to cold and heat, pleasure and pain, which have the nature of coming and going, are not constant. Endure them, O descendant of Bharata. How, with so much of compassion, Krishna is teaching Arjuna. He's like opening it up little by little, petal by petal, and telling him. First, he told him there is no reason for sorrow. Ashocyan anvashochastvam. And then he brought him down to the level of the body and senses and said, when, when the contacts of the sense organs with the sensory world give rise to opposites, but these opposites are not constant. So, when they are not constant, rather than being sorrowful about them, being sad about it, you just have to endure them. Given that the Atma never dies, that it always survives, as Krishna said, it seems that the sorrow caused by the death of a person is not reasonable and therefore not very legitimate. That there may be no sorrow for the person who knows the Atma to be eternal And the anatma to be non-eternal is also possible. However, in this life, sorrow does occur because of certain changes that take place. Situations do not go your way all the time. You do not call all the shots. Things keep changing, some of them favorably and many of them not so favorably. Some situations are pleasant, others unpleasant. That which is pleasant does not last, while the unpleasant seems to stick to me most of the time. There is therefore both pleasure, sukha, and pain, dukkha. The pleasant arrives and must pass away for the unpleasant to come. For instance, people begin to wail about winter long before it actually comes. As the summer ebbs away, they will wail about that too. Even when summer is there, it is going. Thus, when winter is not there, it is coming, and when it is there, it seems not to be going at all. Half the summer is gone because of clouds, and another part of it is frittered away by rain. When it is hot, it is too hot. Because the seasons keep on changing, we find that sukha and dukkha keep on occurring. The pleasant has gone and the unpleasant has come, accompanied by sorrow. The sorrow is not due to Atma going and coming, but purely because of the situational context. This being the case, is there not a legitimate sorrow? So, actually, when we look into nature, nature is teaching us every time, every moment. Seasons, of course, they change, but every day we have day and night. There is change happening. Every second, you cannot keep this second, you cannot hold on to this second and say, I want this eternally. It changes. But being an Atma Jnana is being rooted in the present moment. So the more and more we are in the present moment, we are connected to our center. We are there with that Atma Vichara, is the Atma Jnana, that awareness. Every other time, when the mind swings between past and future, it is getting caught up in situations that have either passed, which you have no control over, which you cannot do anything about, or your mind is in the future where you don't have any control. What might happen the next moment? Now, I was told yesterday that in Bangladesh, a fighter jet lost control and hit it landed in a college. Now, how did those people in the college ever dream that such a thing will happen? So you don't know what will happen the next moment. So wise are the one who remain steadfast in the present. Their mind is there in the present, the whole being, and not swinging from the past to the future. Krishna talked here about the nature of the sense organs and the sensory world. The sense organs, matras, contact sense objects. And these contacts, sparshaha, give you the experience of cold, heat, pleasure, pain, etc. Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkhadaha. The knowledge that something is cold or hot produces a response that this is pleasant, Sukha, or that this is unpleasant, Dukkha. Cold can be either pleasant or unpleasant, and so can anything hot. For instance, you do not go to the fireside on a hot day as you would when it is cold. Thus, heat is not always pleasant and cold is not always unpleasant. So they are changing. The very nature of this is that it is changing and it is relative. We find that there is a uniformity in our responses and also to a certain extent a universality. The world is one of opposites, heat and cold, for example, and these opposites give us pleasure and pain, sukha and dukkha. Categorically, we may say that certain situations make us happy, like a pleasant sunny day. At the same time, however, there are people who want rain so much that they are praying for it. Therefore, the rain that you do not want, someone else may be praying for. These then are our responses, which seem to give rise to sukha and dukkha, all due to contact of the sense organs with their objects. So, that is the root cause of all the pairs of opposites: contact of the sense organs with the sense objects. One may argue that if contacting heat and cold gives rise to sorrow, perhaps we should avoid contact with sense objects. But how can we? Krishna did not say we have to avoid the contacts. We need only understand them. Most of our problems are like this. They only need to be understood. What is to be understood here is that the tendency to come and go is the nature of opposites: heat and cold, pleasant and unpleasant, and so on. If you keep on saying it is hot, a time will come when the heat will be gone. It is the same with the cold. Therefore, they are not constant. They do not remain for you to complain about. Even if you want them to stay, they will not. They are always in a flux, constantly changing. And this nature of their being in constant flux does not change. We cannot totally remove ourselves from the opposites or remove them from us. This is not to say that one should not make an attempt to improve a situation. But if things must always be pleasant for you, Lord Krishna was making it very clear here that they would not be. Because things are both pleasant and unpleasant, they are not always going to be as you want, nor are they always going to be unpleasant either. So the thing is, in our mind, we tend to eternalize everything. If we're going through some pain, we tend to eternalize it. Oh, this is how it is, and this is how it is going to be. The fact is, all the pairs of opposites, none of them is constant. They're in a constant state of flux, of change. Physical pain or sorrow. If death is said to be incapable of causing you sorrow, where does that leave all of the other situations that seem to make you unhappy? The world can cause you some physical pain because the physical body belongs to the physical world. One physical entity can therefore hurt another. Arjuna's problem is not physical. It is purely sorrow, shoka, and shoka is a type of thinking. While physical pain is something to be endured and cured, sorrow is something you build on. Again, a word, a line to be underlined and understood by us. So, physical pain is something to be endured. Why? Because it is because of the contact of the sense organs with the sense objects. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Agama paino nityaha tam stitikshasva bharata. So that titiksha has to be there for physical pain. Whereas shoka is purely mental. It's a type of thinking. Physical pain is not something that is totally avoidable. The body is subject to pain and will be affected by one force or the other. The sun, rain, winter, and so on. You can protect the body to the extent possible, but because it is anitya, constantly changing, it is subject to pain. This is the nature of the body. Sorrow, on the other hand, is something you build on to the pain because of a particular way of thinking. This is exactly where we have to change cognitively. Therefore, Krishna said, take every situation as it comes, Arjuna, cheerfully in your stride with a sense of humor. I think we will stop here today. So, this is the solution for us, how not to be sorrowful. Take every situation as it comes cheerfully in our stride with a sense of humor. That is total acceptance. And therefore the complaint drops. Yeah. I know we don't have much time for Manana. Maybe we'll do the Manana tomorrow. We'll close here today. But it was all a recap of what we did before, anyways. But yeah.
You can finish this paragraph, like it's only a small paragraph next.
Is it?
Yeah, only till Atma, this only Krishna later told.
Okay. Krishna later told Arjuna how these opposites cannot really do anything to you because by nature they have no independent existence apart from yourself, the Atma. There is some kind of lumping that occurs due to a confusion between orders of reality. The mind, senses, and body have similar realities, whereas the Atma is of another order of reality. When you say you are sad, you involve the Atma I in the sadness, as though the Atma belongs to the same order of reality as the mind, which it does not. In this way, the Atma is taken to be the Anatma and it becomes one among the many. Because the Anatmas in the world are too many and so varied, you cannot cope with them all, even though they are all Anatma. Even the small bugs create so many problems, let alone the more powerful forces. If the Atma is really one among the many, nothing can be done. However, the vision is that the Atma is unlike any of them. Sorrow is not possible without Atma I. Every time there is sorrow, it is because Atma is somehow involved. Mere mind with its thought processes cannot create sorrow. Therefore, ignorance is the cause for imputing sorrow to Atma. So we let this sink in. Is it's the wrong thinking and superimposition of the Anatma on the Atma, which is the cause for sorrow. Right?
We involve I into the that an anatma.
If we understand Atma as it is, there is no problem. The problem is we superimpose the Anatma on the Atma. That is the problem. So we'll continue tomorrow. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu.
Meditation is accepting this moment, living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene and with a serene smile on your face. Relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Accept those parts of the body where you feel a tension. The other parts are in comfort. Other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. Total acceptance of what is now here. Lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the efforts. Om Shanti Shanti. Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open your
Jai Gurudev, before you leave, just wanted to let you know, those of you who have the Art of Living app, I think every evening from 9 to 9:45 India time, there is this, they're reviewing Upanishads. So those of you who would want to join in can look up for the Zoom link that comes up automatically on the Art of Living app. Yeah. So till yesterday, it was, I happened just chance to attend yesterday's session. Today, I think they're going to start Katopanishad. Just for your information, any of you is interested can join in. Jai Gurudev.